tower. You are clear for takeoff. Before the show begins, remember that trading involves risk, and anything shared in our content should not be construed as financial advice.
I do have some trades on. I am long Aussie CAD.
For these positions, I wouldn't mind holding them for 3 months.
So around 100.5 to 99.5 in that sort of area.
Pulver alerts, I have 100 shares at 11.79. I closed out today.
Start building your strategy based upon historical data.
Welcome to A1 Trading.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. So this one is late for like 15 minutes because Nick cannot make it today, so I'm replacing Nick. Let me know in the comment section who do we have today. So let's see, let me open my comment section as well. Sluggy, what's up? We have some people, and as we progress with the stream, we should get more people joining. So yesterday we had a webinar, which was Nick, Chris Pulver, James Forex James, and me. So for everyone that did attend the webinar, hope you enjoyed. I think there was quite a lot of value. I was listening to the whole thing today at the gym, and I loved Nick's segment. I'm now on the Chris Pulver segment, so I will keep listening it since it's like 3 or 4 hours of information. Robohola, hey, what's up? Andrew, hello. Scalpy, hello. Kakami, hello. Tony Stark, Iron Man, what's up? Andrew, hello. Anyone unable to access Forex Factory? Yes, I'm having the same issues. So to prepare for the stream, I wanted to go to my news calendar, but I'm getting this. So there's some sort of an issue with Forex Factory. A good alternative, investing.com calendar. You just filter for high impact news. See, importance. And now we can filter for that. So what do we have today? We have initial jobless claims. I was asked in the A1 Discord, are the initial jobless claims important? That was the question. And I would say they are definitely important, but what I'm closely watching is the actual NFP print on Thursday. See right here. So NFP from September, so it's an old NFP print, but still I think it's going to have a bigger impact on the markets. I think it's going to be more volatile than the actual initial jobless claims. So this could be market moving a little bit, but I would say that everyone is waiting for NFP. So most investors are on the sidelines waiting for that NFP print, and then we can have some movement in the markets. Let's see. This is my first time joining your community. Well, thank you very much for joining. If you want to join our Discord, the link is in the description of the stream, and you can join the A1 Discord. There's a massive discount running this month, by the way. I just want to mention that. With my code, Marco, you can get 40% off on the A1 Discord. So yeah, massive discount running, and make sure to take advantage of that. Your thoughts on ADP employment change numbers released today. So I just went through those. We can check out the forecast. So if you go to here, you can see that the actual number is worse than expected. So you want to see this number be lower because it is the jobless claims. So people that don't have a job. So for the strength of the US economy, you would like to see this number be better than the forecast, right? If this number is worse, that should be bearish for the US dollar, definitely bearish for the US dollar, and it probably means that the rate cuts are coming in December. I mean, then rate cuts in December are more likely, but again, it is not such an important data point as NFP. And I think most of the market participants, they are paying the most attention to the NFP number. Hello, mate. What do you think about gold? We will do gold for sure. The webinar was great, tons of value. Yeah, the webinar was awesome. As I mentioned, I was listening to the webinar in the gym. I haven't had the time to go through the whole thing. So I still have Chris Pulver's segment left and from James FX. Hey guys, hey everyone. Forex Factory is not working right now. Cloudflare is having issues, tons of websites and others impacted. Yeah, looks like Cloudflare is having some issues. Vladon, what's up? Okay, FX Bashi, hello, welcome. Marco, do show your trading results. So if you want to check out my trading results from the A1 Trading Discord signals, if you're a member of the A1 Discord, you can get my live signals. Like it's sort of an Excel file that is live on the website, and you get all of the trade history. So you get all of the trades that I have taken and all of the signals I have given. You have the whole history on that Excel sheet. So you can check the results. You can check out those results if you're in the A1 Discord. Hope you're well. I noticed GBP CAD has a bearish reading on the Edge Finder, and I took a short. Maybe check it out. Thanks. So GBP CAD. Okay, we can check out GBP CAD. We can definitely do that. But first, let's run through my watch list. So let me show you what I'm watching for today. I have the NASDAQ, I have Pound Aussie, Silver, which is actually pumping, and USD CAD, which is not looking the greatest. I have two positions in the markets. I have a buy setup on Silver, and I have a buy setup on USD CAD. It is interesting that these two trades are kind of inverse correlation, because as the dollar gains strength, USD CAD goes up, while silver kind of goes down. So silver benefits when the dollar loses value, and when gold loses, or gold benefits when the dollar loses value. So if the DXY is steadily going higher, it is not the most bullish scenario for gold or for silver, but that doesn't really matter for us right now. So the NASDAQ, the most important thing that we can comment on in this environment is going to be the NASDAQ. I would say the NASDAQ, let me just see what's new. Nothing is new. The NASDAQ has been selling off quite nicely. From the all-time high, we have pulled back around 6.15%. But I would say the technical structure is still intact. So the technicals are still looking healthy with this position. I would say we are bouncing from this support level in a pretty healthy manner. So I don't see this latest price action on the daily chart as being a major concern. I don't think it's a major problem. You guys can put it in the chat. So right up if you think NASDAQ goes up until the end of the year, and right down if you think NASDAQ ends lower by the end of 2025. So let's do a quick poll. Up or down? Up, NASDAQ finishes higher until the end of 25. Down, NASDAQ finishes lower until the end of 2025. And then I'll tell you my forecast. But as far as the current price action goes, we're still respecting the support line, the trend line, and it still looks okay. Now, if you have participated in the webinar, you would know that the AI story is getting a bit stale. Artificial intelligence is getting a bit stale. People are no longer super happy that companies are spending a bunch of money in CapEx investment, in investing into artificial intelligence without any guarantee of future returns, without any quality future projections. So that story is getting a bit stale. What does that mean? Well, that basically means that we may get a pullback. I'm not calling for a massive crash. I'm not calling for a 20 or 30 or 40% correction. I'm calling for a 10, 15% pullback, let's say. So maybe to this level, even lower. I would say like this. So this level of support or this level of support, I would say that would be pretty healthy. That would be pretty nice. Let me put on the moving average exponential. We can do that. And let's see the 200 moving average. So where is that? Okay, that is actually quite lower. So we can pull back 15% or 12.8% and still be above the 200 EMA. So that is pretty good, I would say. That is pretty good, and I would say a pullback would be healthy. So something that Nick always talks about, if we're above the 20 EMA or 200 EMA or 200 moving average, we are in a bullish market. If we are below the 200 EMA, we are in a bearish market. So the markets can pull back and we can still be above the 200 EMA on the daily chart. And that is what I think is most likely to happen. I think we can pull back, get that correction, see that artificial intelligence story become active, see people selling a bit, weak hands getting shaken out, and then we can continue going higher. So that is my personal forecast. And now let me see what you guys are saying. You're talking about drugs as far as I can tell. Hey Marco, can you cover USD CAD? Yeah, I have a position in, so I'm gonna take a look. Hey Marco, did you see the Fed Watch tool probability went from 44% to 50%? Okay, that is interesting, but I would say a lot of that is just noise. So that tool is helpful, but it's different every single day. You know, it goes up, it goes down. There's not a massive trading edge that you can acquire from closely watching the percentage, like from 44 to 50. So I don't watch it every single day to say the rate cut is definite. The rate cut is now 50%. Now it's 45. Now it's 38. Now it's 51. Doesn't really matter unless it's an extreme move. Like it did go from 90 to 50. That's an extreme move. That tells you something. But when it goes from 44 to 50, I don't think that's a massive massive move. But still interesting. Thank you for sharing that. That's definitely interesting to see. Goodbye, Bashi. Let's see. Most of you think we will finish higher. What about DAX? We can do the DAX. Go up, go up, go up. Okay. So most of you are actually bullish. That is interesting. That is interesting. If we go to the Edge Finder and if we go to the market sentiment, put to call ratio for the NASDAQ, we are now in the kind of in the bullish sentiment, possibly. But for the S&P, I think we're bearish. SPX. Yeah, high put volume for the S&P, we are bearish. That is interesting to see. And unfortunately, we don't have the COT data. We don't have the commitment of traders. That comes out this week on Friday. So Nick and me personally, I thought it was going to come out last week. It didn't. So the commitment of traders report is coming out this week. Just so you know, if you have the Edge Finder, if you're watching the Edge Finder, the COT data is coming out this week on Friday. So because most of you are bullish on the NASDAQ, should I be bearish? Should I be bearish? Because that is just how it goes. When most people are bullish on something, usually it goes down. But I have to note, most of you guys that are watching these streams are knowledgeable in trading. So the best way to gauge what the retail is thinking is to ask total newbies. So to ask, I don't know, your dad or your mom or your grandma, if she's reading the newspaper, what does she think where the stock market will go? That's kind of more reliable than jumping on YouTube and on Trader Nick's channel and doing a poll with you guys, because you guys definitely have a lot more knowledge than the common trader, common investor that just started out. Usually the common trader, the common investor, they lose most of their account, right, on just a couple of positions. So if you can do the exact opposite of what the newbie trader is doing, it's a pretty good way to make money. Brokers know it. That is why they are not taking your trades. They are actually sitting on the opposite side of your trades, and they make money when you lose money, or they make money when a new trader comes in, blows $1,000 on buying the NASDAQ at exactly the wrong time at the top of the short-term bull market. So you have to think about those things. Pound Aussie. Actually, let's do gold, because that was a pretty popular request. As far as gold and silver go, I am bullish. I'm bullish. I talked about it in the webinar yesterday. Essentially, gold is a massive player in 25. So gold has had massive performance in this year. This train looks super bullish. It seems to be just continuing higher and higher prices. We finally got the pullback, and I was considering buy setups, but I actually took a buy setup on silver. So essentially, I'm going to break down silver, but my analysis can be applied on both gold and silver. For this particular trade, I chose silver, but it was pure luck, if I'm being honest. So there was no clear trading edge with me taking silver instead of gold. I could have bought gold, and it would have probably been a loss or a break-even setup. So, as I told you, commodities have been massive performers in 2025. Currencies were pretty slow, pretty weak, pretty quiet, except the dollar at the beginning of the year. So I always wanted to get in. My plan was to just get in on a pullback. I never got a pullback. I did manage to get in here somewhere, I believe, but I closed it prematurely. And then we had this big explosion. I never got a pullback. We finally got a pullback on the 17th of October. Pretty nice pullback, pretty nice correction. 16.7%. If this happened on the NASDAQ, that would be perfect. That would be awesome. So I wish that we get a pullback on the NASDAQ so that I can get in on a cheap price and get in on a nice discount. We pulled back, we paused a bit, and then we broke out last week on Monday. Edgefinder was starting to become bullish. So top setups page, I believe it is actually still bullish for the metals market. Gold, okay, starting to become neutral. Silver, bullish. Okay, great. So silver is getting a nice, juicy, bullish reading still. But on Monday, both metals were very bullish. And we got a breakout. We got a nice fat blue candle, clean close on the top, and I got in, tight stop loss, small risk. Price exploded higher. I closed 50% of my position at the all-time highs. One more reason why I took this position was buy the rumor, sell the news. What can you remember happened last week? Put it in the chat. What happened last week that had a very big impact on silver? So let me see who knows it. I'll give you a couple of seconds and I'll repeat the question. So which event happened last week? Very important event connected to the US. I just told you the answer. That had a bullish impact on gold and silver. Let's see. Okay. Let me see some other comments as well. The beginning segment is always crazy. Without Nick, the chat is out of control. But I loved the intro that the guys from A1 made. I had my speakers put on almost max volume, and then the rocket started going up, and my whole apartment started shaking. So it's a pretty cool intro. Congrats to the A1 team. UJ, sure. I'll check UJ. My grandma is more profitable than 95% of traders. Probably. Pick up more buyers, might pick up more. Retail is long on the Edgefinder. Whoever is taking the opposite side of my trades has a 90% win rate with a 1.7 risk to reward, or reward to risk. Gold is bullish, but I'm waiting for another short-term pullback. I know, bro, even my grandma sold her gold. She says she's not buying back till the free now. So. Anyone with difficulty to access ChatGPT possibly is going to have the same issues as Forex Factory. It is Cloudflare. Looks like Cloudflare is having issues. ICT, I'm not sure why we mentioned ICT, US government opening up. Yes, so that is the reason. So congrats to Tony Stark, Joshua, Vampire Dogo, and anyone else who mentioned the US government reopening. Trump saying something dumb. Yeah, could have been that as well. But from what I know, it was the US government reopening. Why is that bullish? Well, you have to think about what is the US government doing. They are injecting a massive amount of liquidity into the system. So they're just spending, printing like crazy. What is that? That is inflationary. That makes the dollar lose value. That makes inflation go up. That should be short-term bullish for silver and gold. So in the anticipation of the US government reopening, in the anticipation of the liquidity taps opening, people started heavily buying silver from Monday. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Guess what happened when the news hit on Thursday? News hit on Thursday or late Wednesday, we sold off. Classic, buy the rumor, sell the news. So we sold off here quite heavily. I took 50% of the position off at the highs. If you're in the A1 Discord, this was a trade signal. So if you want to join the A1 Discord, I just want to mention this month is one of the best months to join because we're doing a massive sale of 40% on the A1 Discord with this code right here. So I know I keep repeating myself, but I think it's a pretty good opportunity for you guys to jump in and get yourself a subscription on the A1 Discord or a full-time or a lifetime access. And also this works on the Edge Finder as well. So I closed 50% here. I let the rest run with a trailing stop loss. So the rest of the position is running right now around break even. I know it was quite a big sell-off. Why didn't you close the full thing on the top if you knew about the buy the rumors, sell the news scenario? Well, I still think this is a good level. I still think this is a good level where I got in. I like my stop loss position. I like that we are above the 20 MA. I like the massive uptrend. I like that we are putting pressure. Just a second. I like that we are putting pressure on these highs. And I believe the path of least resistance is to the upside. And US government reopening is not only short-term bullish, it should be long-term bullish as well. What is coming in 2026? Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. What does Trump's Big Beautiful Bill do? It does a lot of spending. So it involves a massive amount of spending. What does spending do? It increases inflation. How can you protect against inflation? You can buy silver. And also silver, I would say, is a bit undervalued compared to gold. Silver is a great commodity used in all sorts of stuff in manufacturing. So I believe silver is a great play, a great all-rounder to have. So I want to be in this position. I still think this is a good level, and I'm letting it run. So I want to take this time to mention the sponsor of today's video, which is DNA Funded. If you guys are looking to expand your trading capital, get the prop firm challenge. DNA Funded is a great option. So it is one of the reliable prop firms. It's not the only reliable prop firm. I'm not gonna lie. You have FTMO, 5%. There's a couple other ones, but two things that I love about DNA. First thing, you get a 25% discount with our code, which is A1 Live. Okay, so you get a very, very competitive price. A1 Live gets you 25% off any challenge. Now that already puts the price in the lowest amount when it comes to reputable prop firms. So it beats the pricing of all of the other reputable firms. Second thing I love, DNA Funded is ran by a big broker and ran by professionals. So you know this company is going to be here for the next few years. And the final thing is they're using TradeLocker as execution software. In my opinion, TradeLocker is the best execution software I have ever used. So TradeLocker is so good. The main thing why I like it is because you get automatic position size calculation inside of TradeLocker, right? So inside of TradeLocker, you get this automatically done. You just put in, do 0.5%, 1% risk, 2% risk. It does everything automatically. This is my ChatGPT trading challenge, where I basically take 2 trade signals per day from ChatGPT and I put them into a 50K DNA fund challenge. I almost passed phase 1. I was pretty close in these equity highs, and then I got into drawdown. So now I'm around break even. Unfortunately, 2 trades running, EJ and S&P, both trades are showing a bit of a loss. So yeah, right now in some drawdown, but we will see what will happen. I thought this is a pretty interesting challenge for creating content on YouTube. You guys seem to love it, to love watching these types of videos. And I thought we were going to pass phase 1. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So I'm battling it out here. And if you want to check it out, if you want to get funded, do remember A1 Live gets you 25% off, and that is specifically for you guys watching these streams. Usually the discount is not this big. Let's continue. USD CAD is a position that I'm in. USD CAD is my favorite Forex position for 2025 and possibly 2026. If you have been watching these streams, I always share this position. USD, I'm bullish on. The CAD, I'm bearish on. I think the CAD is getting the worst numbers relative to all of the other economies. So Canada is really not doing well. And I think, yeah, that this is a pretty good trade to have in the markets. What do I love most about this trade? It is positive swaps. So I get paid. The longer I'm in this trade, I get paid every single day. How much do I get paid? Well, first you can check in the Edge Finder. Before you take any single position in Forex, you can go to the carry trade scanner. You can put in USD CAD, for example. You can see carry direction is a buy, right? So if you buy, you get paid positive swaps. And then if you open your execution platform, in this case, I'm using MetaTrader with my IC markets. And if I go to just a second, USD CAD, I find USD CAD in my MetaTrader and I go to swap long. So I get paid 4 euros per 1 lot that I'm long. So if I'm long 7 lots, whoop, let's close this. I'll get paid 7 times 4 euros every single day, which is actually around 27, I believe. I'm not good at maths. I used to be pretty quick at maths, but I'm no longer so quick. So let's just do this on a calculator. Jesus, 28. Yeah, that's the problem when you use too much. When you are on your computer too much, you lose some basic skills. So 28 euros. Right? Well, yeah, okay. That's pretty good. If you have a big account, you get paid 28 euros every single day that you keep holding the position. So if you hold the position for, I don't know, let's say 2 months, so 28 times, let's say 30, that's 840 euros per month times 2, that's 1,680 euros if you hold the trade for 2 months, right? Now that is pretty good. I know you have to have a big account to go to buy 7 lots of USD CAD, but if you do have a big account, it works even on prop firms. Prop firms should have swaps, and you should basically get paid as long as you keep holding this position. So it's in my best interest to keep this trade going as long as I can. To keep it going, because I'm just getting paid to be in the position and I don't have any reason to get out right now. Fundamentals are still bullish. Technical analysis is still intact. Right there. Whoop. Let's do it like this. Yeah. So basically, I would say the trend line is still intact. Favorite position, check it out. Okay. Let me see. They just fixed it. Awesome. What's up, everyone? What's up, Aaron? How are you doing? Forex Factory working again. Great. Can US residents use DNA? I believe you can, so make sure to check it out. As long as he doesn't get impeached first, Trump's big beautiful bill is sweeping taxes and spending policies. I don't think he's going to get impeached. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to put in the big beautiful bill. It's going to happen. It's going to be massive spending. It's going to be inflation. Gold and silver should go higher, and especially if we get rate cuts. So if you get the Trump's big beautiful bill plus rate cuts in 2026, and rate cuts are already scheduled for 2026, well then that's bullish for gold and silver because inflation drastically goes up. And guess what? Real inflation is much higher than the CPI. If you go to the CPI, it's 3%, but you're losing much more than 3% per year. I would say it's 6, 7, maybe even 8% per year that your dollars are losing in value, because this is just the inflation. You have to think about how much money they are printing, and they're printing a beep ton of money every year. So I like MT5 more, personal choice. MetaTrader is great, but I just like TradeLocker more, if I'm being honest. TradeLocker looks a lot more modern, and it has some features that I'm missing inside of MetaTrader that I would really like to have in MetaTrader, but they just don't want to update their application. I'm only worried if we lose 3,600 on gold. If you look at the weekly chart, is the main support. Forex Factory is back up. USD CAD is bullish. 28, 77 plus 33 is not 100. What do you think of GBP USD? 6, 7. Okay, so someone asked me in the chat about the DAX, and I would say the DAX looks horrible, as it always does. So at the beginning of the year, we had the narrative that the DAX is going to replace the NASDAQ and that the euro is going to replace the dollar. That, of course, did not happen. Instead, the DAX just heavily sold off. I mean, it was flat for most of the year. We had some bullish price action here. It already took 2 of my positions, so I took 2 losses inside of this chop, and horrible. Just European Union, they are, I would say, pretty lazy and pretty incompetent. They could be competent. You have a lot of smart people in the EU, but they just don't want to do anything. So we are being ran over. I'm in the EU. We are being ran over by the US, and the EU is being ran by some very, very lazy people and incompetent people, if you ask me. This should not happen. This should not happen. We should get at least some movement to the upside. Every single hedge fund, every single pension fund is running into the United States when they could be investing into Europe. Overall, it is moving up, so that's good. But I mean, 25, we printed so much money. The money supply increased so much. The dollar and all of the other currencies lost so much value. And for what? For the DAX to stay flat for most of the year? Very bad. So European Union, please wake up. Please do something about the DAX, because it is super choppy and it doesn't help anyone. My opinion on the DAX as a trader, as sort of an unbiased opinion, is I'm being patient. I'm waiting for a breakout to the upside. So I'm just looking at this level of resistance, and I'm waiting to see the price move higher and break out with some nice momentum. That is the game plan for the DAX. I have a lot of other things that look so much better. For example, the NASDAQ looks so much more interesting, looks to have actual direction of movement, and looks to have a lot of opportunities to buy the dip and end up positive at the end of the year. Bitcoin, we should cover Bitcoin. Whoa, Bitcoin just keeps selling off. Pretty interesting. I do have some investments in Bitcoin from this level, I would say. So from around 77, approaching my break-even price. And I told you, Bitcoin broke some key levels. So Bitcoin broke some key support levels right here, and a pretty important trend line right there. And we are now in the bearish part of the halving cycle. If you watched my part of the webinar yesterday, you would notice that we are now in the bearish part of the halving cycle. What is the halving cycle? Well, What is Bitcoin's halving cycle? This is it. Okay. Every 4 years. That's the period. We had 3 halving cycles in the past, and this period is the bearish period. The bullish period starts again in November of 2026. So we broke key levels, some technical analysis. Fundamentally, things are not looking great. We are now in the bearish part of the halving cycle, which means seasonality is bearish. I'm being patient on Bitcoin. It looks pretty bad. Ethereum, following Bitcoin, crashing lower, looks pretty bad as well. So not the best story for crypto bulls, not the best story for MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, where is MicroStrategy? MSFT. No, that's Microsoft. Crap. What's the ticker for MicroStrategy? Let me see. MicroStrategy ticker. MSTR. Oh, thankfully. This is Michael Saylor's company. He's a big believer in Bitcoin. He basically used all of the cash reserves to buy a bunch of Bitcoin through his company, MicroStrategy. And he is now approaching his break-even level. So I think actually he is now around his break-even level. If it goes any lower, he could be in some big problems. So MicroStrategy is the same thing as buying Bitcoin, maybe even worse because you get a bad ratio. Sometimes they are selling you the stock price that is worth, let's say, 2 times less than actually buying Bitcoin. So when you buy the stock, it's like you have bought 0.5 of a Bitcoin, right? They try to get you, they try to scam you where you are buying sort of a crypto company. The valuation is based on crypto value of Bitcoin, but you're much better off buying actual Bitcoin. Hope that makes sense. It's a bit tough to explain. But Michael Saylor, definitely not a risk-averse guy. He loves risk, and he just keeps on buying Bitcoin. His whole company, whole strategy is based on the price of Bitcoin. Very entertaining to watch, so we will see what will happen. But crypto right now, if I had to give a bias, it would be a bearish one. Bearish bias on Bitcoin. UK 100, sure, we can take a look. Don't worry, we have quite a few lazy and incompetent people in the US government as well. Yeah, but you guys are... I mean, US is the most successful country in the world. No doubt about it. All of the money is in the US. All of the money is in tech companies. All of the most successful, competent people are in the United States. That is just reflected in the stock price. I'm not saying that life in the United States is the best because I've never visited. And I know there's a lot of issues with immigration and violence on the streets and homeless people. But as far as money goes, most of the money is located in the United States. So most successful people go to the States to accomplish what they want because they know that all of the investors are there. EU is less biased. We just had one from Croatia. So I'm from Croatia. It's a small country near Austria, near Italy. We just had a hedge fund manager that opened the hedge fund here. He basically moved to the United States so that he can attract more clients for his hedge fund and improve his client relations. So he knows all of the money is in the United States. He had to move there, and he did. So he moved a couple of months ago, and he's a pretty famous guy here in Croatia. Pretty famous hedge fund manager. Because EU is less biased towards capitalism. Yeah, in the EU is more chill, more lazy, but I think we enjoy life a bit more than you guys. You guys just work, and in the EU it's more chill. So pick your poison. What do you want? Do you want to work but have a lot of money, or do you want to chill and have a bit less money? What do you think about NVIDIA earnings? Haven't checked them out, sorry. Thank you. I just trade DAX, NAS, and gold. Cool. Good luck. It says the last halving cycle happened in April 2024. The fourth halving cycle is happening right now. So the fourth halving cycle is right now, and we are now in this season. When you look at seasonality, we are now in the bearish part of the halving cycle. MSTR, yes, thank you for the ticker. Gold still needs to pull back. I'm not convinced about the bullish objective. Taco Marco, what's up, brother? How are you? Hey, Ballout, what's up? Hope you are doing well. Michael Saylor, I don't know, man. Something tell me this guy will be on some documentary one day. All the money on the world flows to the United States. That's just the reality. So I'm not sure what to think about Michael Saylor. Is he Elon Musk or is he Sam Bankman-Fried? I would say he's more Sam Bankman-Fried than Elon Musk. But time will tell, and it's definitely going to be an interesting documentary on Netflix in 5 to 10 years, because most of these guys end up having a Netflix documentary for better or for worse. So we are approaching the end of the stream in like 3 to 4 minutes. So any last minute questions, put them in the chat. I'll do a couple more charts and then we will wrap it up. I am the only guest today. Nick will be back tomorrow on the regular schedule. So let's do a couple more charts and then we will wrap it up. So S&P selling off. Dow Jones, whoa, Dow is selling off. Russell, yes, selling off as well. The DAX we just covered looks like crap. Nikkei pulling back as well. I know there was a request for UJ, so let's do UJ. Very interested to see UJ is up. Okay, cool. So UJ is pumping, gaining some value from yesterday. Pretty big pump on yesterday. Pretty big pump higher on UJ yesterday. I'm bullish if I had to pick a direction. I did some research. I heard what Nick has to say, and I think the yen is more bearish than bullish. I think there is a clash between the new prime minister. She is dovish. Bank of Japan doesn't really know what to do. They are a bit hesitant when it comes to raising interest rates, where they should raise interest rates because inflation is getting out of hand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2.9%. That's pretty high, still pretty high. What you have to know, most central banks target 2% as the inflation rate, okay? So UJ, I'm bullish on. I'm bullish on the dollar, bearish on the yen. One thing to note, we are approaching the intervention level, okay? We are approaching the intervention level where at the intervention level, we could see the Bank of Japan heavily buying the yen, selling the dollar. Right, so they did it in July 24. They'll do it again. They have the power. They have the funds. Watch out for 157 to 161. That's the level where they could very, very likely do an intervention. Let me check out the monthly chart. Okay, so we don't have a lot of data, but that's definitely a level where we could get some problems. We could get an intervention. And if you're long before an intervention, you definitely want to get out. You don't want to be long when there's an intervention because you can get slipped, you can get huge gaps, you can get all sorts of messy stuff. So watch out at those higher levels. It's gonna get a bit dangerous. NAS dumping. USDN is bullish. I think so as well. Who got into gold? I am in silver. MicroStrategy faces initial problems per BTC if the drop persists. Yeah, very interesting. So MicroStrategy price is heavily correlated with Bitcoin price, and it's going down. Michael Saylor could be in trouble. It's going to be interesting. Okay, and we ran through most of the stuff. Let's check out US oil, doing nothing. Copper, doing nothing. Platinum, kind of flat. DXY, bullish in my opinion. Yen, a bit bearish in my opinion. 10-year dropping a little bit. But I would say the most interesting asset today is NASDAQ. Heavily dropping. Interesting to see it. Maybe we can go a bit lower so that I can buy the dip and get in on some long-term investments on NASDAQ. I am planning to have some dry powder set aside to buy the S&P or the NASDAQ for a long-term investment. So that's it. Watch out for the NFP print this Thursday. That's going to be the most important news event. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
You've been watching A1 Trading Live. We're here Monday through Friday, where you can tune in to hear insights from professional traders from all over the world. All month long, our products are 40% off, the biggest discount of the entire year. You can get access to our trading softwares, trading community, and so much more right now on our website, a1trading.com. Make sure to subscribe for future streams, and don't forget, if you're looking to get access to free courses, prop firm discounts, and free trading tools, as well as massive discounts on all our products, head over to a1trading.com. See you next time.